Welcome to day 260 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of January 2016, which was Kung Fu Panda 3.
I was thinking about January,
Mhm.
and usually January is not very good.
No.
And of the movies that actually came out in January, I think this is the best one.
I think so too.
From what I can remember, I think so.
Because, okay, again, there was Iron Man, right? Which we saw in January, but did not come out in January. And I think if I had, if you maybe choose, I would say I like Iron Man a bit more, but not, way more. And,
Yeah.
okay, let me, quickly go through everything for January. So, what are all the Januaries? Okay. Higher Learning, fine.
Nah.
Bed of Roses, heh. Yeah, Iron Man, it's a fuck Spice World. Diesel that, who cares? Fantasia 2000, okay, that was good. But,
Yeah.
Save Last Dance, alright. Snow Dogs, who cares? Just
Yeah.
Married, fuck that. Along Came Polly, Lack of Pirates, 0 to 10.
Yes.
Hide
I'm
and
very
Seek,
mad
who
about
cares? Big Mama's House, who cares? Epic Movie, Kill Me.
this.
Cloverfield,
Split.
divided, but even then I would still put it as just kind of alright. Taken, who cares? Book of Eli, okay. Green Hornet, meh. And okay, Iron Man 2 kind of took the place for 2012, and that was okay. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters was the thing. Ride Along, who cares? Taken 3, who cares? And then now we're at Kung Fu Panda 3. So
Oh my god, yeah, this is the best.
yeah, and then looking
legitimate January movie.
and looking forward to the next few years, I don't see anything beating it. So yeah, that's okay. Hooray, we got a good January movie. I mean, we've had a few that were
Yeah.
decent, but still. So
And we completed a trilogy too. Well,
yeah.
while we didn't watch the sequel in the 300 movie challenge, we watched it on our own time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we watched it, I don't know, a few months ago? I don't remember. But
Yeah, a little while ago. It's been a bit.
yeah, because we had a date and we're just okay, sure. I still think I agree with my original statement where I said I like 2 the most, and then 1, and then this one. But I don't dislike this one at all. That's
Yeah.
my outlook on it. But I'm wondering if you see something different or similar or whatever.
I think I agree where I like the first two a little bit better. This movie was good, but I feel like the message seemed to be a repeat of the second one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or there was elements
Yeah,
from both
it's
that was
it's the
repeating.
second-
Because I mean, they
Yeah.
kind of, they don't do this that much, but there is a bit of oh, Poe is lame. How can he be cool? How can he be cool, right? And it's wasn't
Yeah.
this literally the entire point of the first movie? So
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, I don't know what my identity is and stuff, but that was kind of the second movie.
He's had 2 identity crises.
yeah, so there's that, and then again, there was kind of a little bit of the father son thing with his goose father, a little bit of that in the second movie. So I guess you could say it's repeating, but at the same time, they definitely do a lot more with it here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but I kind of like the dynamic with Poe and the 2 dads and the whole Panda Village thing. I like that.
I liked it too. I thought it was going to be, I was a little skeptical at first, but then actually seeing it come to play and everything, it was
Yeah.
really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could have easily made it very annoying,
Yeah, and I also
but they didn't.
Yeah, and I also the whole thing near the end where they're oh, teaching the pandas to do kung fu, right? And it's if you realize it's kind of mirroring what Shifu did in the first movie, because what
Yeah.
Shifu did is he found Poe's what did I say his
His motivation.
yeah, the motivation what interested him specifically, right? And so
Yeah.
that's what Poe kind of did for the pandas, where they're okay, this is the thing you're good at, let's start with that, right, and go from there. And so it was kind of mirroring that. I was oh, okay, that's actually pretty kind of clever with that.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest problem, and again, it's not even that negative, it's just not as good as the other stuff, is the villain.
That's true.
He didn't. He showed up in first, it wasn't like as like random as in the first movie, because in the first one he's like he just shows up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Second movie, like the villain is very constant, so he had a presence, and then here it's kind of like he randomly comes in like sprinkled throughout the story.
And you don't really understand why he's as bad as
he's just butt mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I guess the thing is, in the first movie, it doesn't really matter how bad he is, because the whole point of the movie is to show how Poe kind of evolves and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I guess in that way you can kind of equate it to like the early Marvel movies and stuff, where it's like you're focusing on the character. It doesn't really matter if the villain is like.
Even then, I think Tai Lung, I think is who it was. The name was in the first movie.
Yeah.
He's not like. Again, he needs a little bit more focus, but even then I can see what they were doing in the sense they're kind of doing like the anti-Poe, where it's like he has really good skills, it's just his character is wrong, whereas Poe is like the opposite, right? And so I get that, he just, again, his personality was just kind of right? So that was the main thing for him. And I've said, I actually don't remember if I did say this when in actual discussion, so I'll say it now. Shen, in the second movie, I really like Shen, like quite a lot. Because to me, he's a really good example of like this sort of villain archetype where he's acting tough, but he's not actually tough, and like you have to kind of break through that exterior mold to find out that he's actually just kind of like a paranoid loser. And I really like that archetype if they do it well, and I think they do it really well there. And so that that's more of like Kung Fu Panda 2 is it's a lot more focused on the villain, and it's more of, you know, it's not just Poe growing into himself, it's Poe growing to defeat the villain, right? It's like that's the whole point of the goal. And again, they link that into the whole thing with his mom and that kind of stuff, right? So that's really this. It's like they still have some growth. They have the stuff with the chi and how he's kind of like, you know, the ultimate dragon warrior thing, and thinking about like the whole thing at the end, right? So I get that, but the villain doesn't link with that. Right?
Yeah.
It's he's just kind of he's like a more powerful bad guy that can do like spirity stuff. But again, he doesn't even really do that. It's the Jade Warrior things. He summons them and then he like takes the chi. But it's like in terms of like actually like fighting and stuff, like that'd be really cool if he had it was more like a mystical like kind of fight style or something, right? I think that would be more interesting. But instead, it's just like he's a dude with like meat cleavers. I don't know. It's kind of what those are. But
I don't know.
On chains.
Yeah. So again, I don't think he's bad. He's just like not very interesting. And again, compared to the other two, especially Shen. I like Shen a lot, but this guy's kind of like eh. So, and yeah, there is some repeats in some of the stuff that's there, but otherwise, again, it's still the same kind of good stuff that we saw in the others.
Yep.
So you know, characters are good, dialogue is good. You know.
I also like how they reference the previous films too.
Oh yeah, continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had really good continuity and stuff.
Yeah, where it was well, especially because the second one ended with basically like it was. I don't remember how exactly this happens, but there's like a zoom out and then into like the Panda village, and then like the dad is like has a realization that his son is alive or whatever. Again, I don't remember how that exactly happens, but that's there, right? So we knew that this kind of thing was coming, at least to some degree. And then visually, you know, like the first one, and the second one still looks really good.
The stylization of some of the scenes is really interesting.
Right, yeah, because it's not so much like visual like pure like quality in terms of like look how like well animated it is, right? It's not quite like that. It's more so again like the visual style of it and kind of emphasizing certain things.
Yeah,
it's like
some of them are with like 2D, some of it is in terms of like because it's like an inky drawing and stuff.
Yeah
and stuff.
And some of the colors that are used for things are really good too. Like especially the whole kind of climax in the spirit realm, where it's the kind of golden hue of everything is really nice. But
and it's not overpowering in any way either.
Yeah.
No. So. Yeah, I mean I see this as like a solid good movie, even though I think it is the least of the three. It's still a very solid good movie. So you know that's nothing negative about that at all. I did actually just I was curious. I looked to see if there's any talks or any development or anything on like a Kung Fu Panda 4. Basically, no. There's super vague like people being like, you know, maybe it'll happen at some point, but like there's no like actual plan going forward or anything like that, which I'm fine with. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually are putting a series down. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, this seemed like a very logical end because he became, like, literally the dragon warrior.
Yeah, I don't really know where else
he's
they
a
could
teacher
go.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what more do you want? You can't just have another movie where Poe just randomly regresses for no reason.
Yeah, and then even then, like, also any sort of loose ends that they could have had before, like, they tied up as well, because, like, the first movie, you know, you could have a loose end of, like, well, why does, you know, have a dad that's a goose, right? So then they kind of address that with, like, oh, it's because the mom, you know, got killed by Shen and blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, well, wait, that's what happened to the mom, so then what happened to the dad? Oh, here's Kung Fu Panda 3, here's what happened to the dad. So now it's like, I literally can't think of anything they could go into unless they really wanted to go into, like, the backstory of, like, the Furious Five, all of them, but that's, like, that's not, then it's not a Kung Fu Panda movie, right?
Yeah.
So
That's just a Furious 5 movie.
yeah. Which I mean,
I
I could maybe see if they kind of want to do like a smaller scale thing, and if they want to like have like a show, kind of go through and do kind of a villain of the week kind of thing. Like that could work, but
they could make a TV show with like Shifu and I can never pronounce his name. Oogway and the original like 5, and Poe isn't there, so it's like the prequel miniseries like they did.
Yeah, or again, even if they did it like as a continuation of this, that could work too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is like a full scale movie, as like, you know, we're continuing the main story. It's like you kind of can't. So
no,
I mean it's kind of like I have noticed that DreamWorks, they do seem to actually like once they've kind of completed a thing, they stop. If it's where, like, for example, Madagascar, right? There was 1, there was 2, and then there's 3, and then they're back in the zoo, and it's kind of over, right? And so it's like, or you know, okay, right? So that's that. Or they're actually not in the zoo, they're whatever. There's that, and then I'm pretty sure
seems like with the How to Train Your Dragon series,
right.
That's also what's happening.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Now, granted, as of recording this right now, it's the third movie is not out yet. I think it's out next weekend, at least in the U.S. I know it's been out in like Australia for a while. But then again, I haven't seen any of those movies, so. But I've heard they're really good too. So it's like, that's probably the end of that. So that's something. At least they don't like beat a dead horse. Seemingly, they're not, you know, fucking Illumination. Ugh. Let's make
Speaking of continuity issues.
Let's make a Sing 2, because the first one definitely didn't, you know, whatever.
Let's make a Minions 2 for no reason.
Yeah, Minions 2. What else? Do I even want to look at the list of upcoming Illumination films? I'm just gonna get depressed.
Let's not look at the list. Let's not be depressed. Let's just think of Pants.
No, I'm gonna look it up. I want to be depressed now.
You can do that on your own.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. You cannot stop me. I am in control of when this recording stops. And I say that this goes in the recording, because obviously everyone wants to know.
Oh my god.
Okay, Secret Life of Pets 2, Minions 2, Sing 2, Despicable Me 4.
What?
Yep.
Fucking Illumination.
And then there are apparently 3 untitled films set for release July 2021, July 2022, and December 2022. And then there's the Mario movie they're apparently making, which is now set for 2022.
Illumination, please kindly cancel yourselves. Thank you.
But capitalism.
Cancelled.
Cancel capitalism.
No. You can't cancel capitalism. You can't cancel. You have to terminate.
Terminate! I'll be back to terminate your ass.
Oh my god. Is there like a Terminator 6 coming out like sometime or something?
Terminator needs to be terminated.
Well, I mean, yeah, but if they were gonna do anything, it'd be like, they need to go all the way, just like Terminator 6, like fuck capitalism or something. Just like, you know, I don't know. Makes no goddamn sense. Just whatever. No, you know what they should do? Okay. Take Terminator and have them go back in time, have a crossover with the Ice Age sequels.
What?
Just because
Oh my god!
none of it makes any fucking sense anymore, right? Because I mean, they already met aliens, so let's just have them meet the Terminator, right?
Okay. Bye. The movie is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Okay, that's true.
What is the next movie?
It's the very not February movie.
How do I think of a fish story for that?
I kind of have an idea, but I think we already used it for something else, so shit.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
It's
figure
fine.
something out.
Oh well, whatever.
Bye.
Bye.